Good morning, guys. First of all, I would like to apologize because it turns out that in the previous video, even with the laptop plugged in, I did not realize that the battery was not charging, so there came a time when it ran out, and I did not realize account and what happened because the SMSEM computer turned off immediately and I didn't even have time to ask for this. It's not worth it. We'll try to ensure that this doesn't happen to me again. I'll be a little more aware of this. The game, let's say I don't know, was not recorded, so I had to start over, and therefore the appearance of this map and this city, let's say that it is being built, because it does not look much like the previous one, but well, the important thing is the same here, is to explain the details of the program and to see how it works. We are going to continue. I kept talking about how to find out this, like this, that what people say is inactive. So he told us that pressing the point OK that indicates only one, and if there are several, then you have to go from an egg. Okay, then if you want to know how many people there are actually, the most comfortable is to press the point but keeping the Alt key pressed. OK, well, let's continue with the game, because if not, this is going to slow me down a lot. Look at this detail. This has been placed on me already, illuminated, and what it is indicating is that it is now possible to go to the second phase. Okay, it is a pulse and the activation begins to go to the second phase. At this moment, as you can see, we have 2,190 and well, more than 2,200 units of food and more than 2,700 of wood, 300 which was initially made of stone and 130 of metal. This has dropped a bit because initially it has 300. The population from now on is 77 out of 110. It is due to the houses that have been built around about the agora, and 73 of them are working. Therefore, there could be those who directed us. These 3 are not working. Okay, I'm going to put it here so they can continue building houses. You have also heard that siren, it means that it was not attacking or that they're going to proceed to the attack. You have them here. They come, as you can see here. The red silhouettes are observed, so I am going to take the 2 city, all the soldiers I can, and a flame fight the fight. And in reality, very few troops have come. When there are many, if you want, you can put the zoom so that in this case it has not given me time because very few came, and you can see the details of the fight. Since they are finished, we are going to continue with the work. Next time I will try to zoom in to that you see that the battle with more precision. The sea of interesting details. First I am going to put more men. By the way, look carefully that I have already built 7 orchards around the one now, and a few houses are worth these 3 capes. They're already standing well. We are going to make them continue building, and if you wonder why I do it like this, the reason is the following. Look, if I click the mouse on the time, a circular line is observed here. Okay, that frames me, well, what is called a circle of security is worth around him. Now this means that any enemy that is placed in that area inside that security circle, let's say, runs the risk of dying because arrows are shot in the agora, and more so if inside there are refugee soldiers. So let's imagine that some of the enemies enter a unit. Well, the most normal thing is that it disappears quickly. The same thing happens with some other buildings. For example, I don't know if they are the fortresses, but in the stone towers there are surely more things. You can easily select a type of unit. Let's imagine that you click twice on one of these illegal soldiers that has passed fixed. Here I dial 30, in this case 30 swordsmen. I repeat, you take a shot. Or a woman unit, whatever does not work. For everyone, even for buildings, press twice and it selects all the units of that type that are on that one on the map as you are seeing it at that moment. They are only the visible area, not the entire map. Well, now some other detail, pay attention. And I can now give these 30 a specific order. It's for boys. For example, Wi-Fi, we'll put it here online. How do you get that? With the board button, with the right mouse button, I click, for example, at the start and then drag the mouse without releasing it. Finally, and then what do I get? Well, that those 30 soldiers in their accounts for chili peppers are placed here in a line. Well, if it's useful for something, well, there you have it too. Obviously I can tell you. You're going to go to this other area to collect wood. He placed a frame on them of resources so that I don't have to walk too much. I go to work and do more things. I do the same with the other guy, the first have. Here as a soldier, I'm going to get more because if I don't, remember that I have artificial intelligence at a very low level, or it's very easy, and therefore, well, they're not going to go too fast and they're going to give me time to explain, because these things are not normally done unless you require it. Because at that moment, well, what has been said, we are going to click, for example, twice on this individual. OK, mark me here as you see 27 units. In this case, bog money. Well. Let's see it. And I do the same as before. Oh. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see these people in more detail. Remember that the zoom will be, it is done with the mouse, with the mouse wheel. All of them, you know, are loaded with wood. And they carry it in their hand. It can be a shield on one side and a javelin on the other. When there is a fight with the enemy, well, I will try to bring these people closer so that they see what lashes they hit with the javelins. It is impressive. It is impressive, and from a distance, of course, it is not melee. Very well. Another thing that may also interest us, especially when we are already in the fighting phase or battle, especially at the end, look closely in this that you have here on the left, these icons that are here is worth. This is used to make specific formations of the people that you have selected. For example, here it puts the rectangular, and it can also be set as default by pressing the right click. I give it, and they form a rectangle. I give it here, and it tells me forced march. There are Different types of formations. This closed phalanx, okay, this would not be suitable for this type of units, but the best thing for the swordsmen that we have on the other side, yes. Skirmish. Open phalanx, well here, there are different possibilities. Okay, this is called the flank, this first line, and lastly, skirmish, since the same thing can be done with an entry of units, and they're attacking me again. Well, let's see what I was saying a moment ago. I'm going to say to these gentlemen that come to the attack, I'm going to zoom in. What happens is that they're in the forest and it will not open. Look carefully that they are placed at a certain distance, and if what has been said, some natural bores arrive that leave you thinking immediately, and well, since so few enemy units come to me, the thing ends perfectly. Now I am going to do the same with this other one, with this other type of soldier, and you will see what happens in this case. We have already said that they are swordsmen. I am going to place them here in the open field. Okay, well, look, for example, at this it is. To zoom in like 22. And as in this case, there is the formation of the turtle. Look at what has happened. Look at how they have been placed. Does this sound like something to you? You see everyone here very tight together so that there is no loophole. Keto. By the way, before I forget, look at these green horizontal bars that you have here. You will say that what it means, well, that indicates to me the health that each of these two soldiers has. Specifically, there is one that is this one that has a small strip of red. Means that you are injured, the others seem to be completely healthy. I am going to remove boys, you have to select them, the people are there so you can see them in more detail. Look, and now I am going to turn. How compact the formation is there? Well, it is quite complicated to penetrate, especially if there are many perfect soldiers. Let's go back. Let's make them continue working, remember, with a selection made, right-click, wherever we want it to go, in this case, to collect wood. This in order to go to the next phase. I remind you that we have already moved on to the second one, and by the way, I don't know if you have noticed, but the blue line was closer to the aura, and now it has been left every time we go through a phase. That expands our territory. Okay, now it reaches here, it is wider, larger than the one that existed before. I repeat, to be able to move on to the third phase. Now we need more buildings, and I just put these 5. Now you will see first a farmhouse. I put it near the fields in case I need to add more fields that are here. I remind you that the farmhouse, which makes it not possible to collect food. There we have several who are working in the farmhouses. Then I'm going to go to another area to see if the enemy is down here, or I'm going to put it in horizontal so that I can clarify. Okay, I'm on the left and the enemy, as you can see here on the small map, but it's on the right. Well, I'm going to take a series of them that are closer, and I am going to build a corral, and then a market. Well, the market has set the day that I put it as far away as possible. We are going to explain why beyond all the markets, because there may be several agreed to trade to exchange resources, and the most effective thing is that they are as close as possible, far possible from each other, against furthermore, let's say, bonuses they will give you for the Correct trade well here, I think. The two of them have been placed. The two soldiers that were here were two. Everyone knows how they have ended. They have put me to work. I'm going to do the count. In these two, I'm going to have them build a forge. And here I have others who are going to build me a temple. I usually always build these 5 elements when I want to go from the second to the third pass. They can also be replace it with others, but I don't usually do it that way. The rest comes to me. More people out there. Let's kill music. And they come to me. They come to you almost from 1 to 1 to 2 to finds, and that's very easy to. The problem is that many of them come to you. Let's go. We're going to build the temple. You'll say, and why has it been placed so close to the front? The wounded soldiers help you to improve your health of all the soldiers that may be the other way around. That is, when a soldier is wounded, if he is near the temple or inside, it will help him to heal. We already have it. I don't know if everything has already been finished. We're going to see who are inactive. Alt soldiers, and the point that I have 5 to come. I'm going to bring it up about those who are already too far from the front. But hey, since it's a video demonstration, is not so important at this time that all the soldiers are at the front. What we were going to see, click on the open again, and we see that this symbol that was previously gray is now red-orange. But we still cannot go on to the third phase despite the fact that we have built the 5 buildings that I have told you about. If any were missing, he would tell me in this one, in this explanatory table. Well, what is what I need? Well, it tells me there, and it says resources insufficient. I am missing 750 units of stone and 708 of metal. Therefore, I am going to take a few and get me those resources that I need. Well, let's go round. I could place it. Look here, I have a stone quarry, and here I have a mine of metal, because I'm going to bring in a few soldiers, and I'm going to take them on one side to the stone gate. And then, since there's a metal mine here, I'm going to take a few of these soldiers that I have up here on the left, and I'm going to take here with a resource warehouse so that they can pick up that metal for me. Now when they finish building the warehouse, well, I told them to focus on it in the metal, because next to it they also have another resource that is wood. Well, something else than the one that I hadn't commented yet. It's interesting. As soon as possible. Take now, I'm already late. But actually firing is not a game, let's really say. I'm going to take a few soldiers, and when I can, in this case I can't, I'm going to build a couple of him. That way I will have the possibility of taking out even more soldiers, apart from taking them out of the agora. It costs less to take out from the barracks now when this is reset to 0 in insufficient stone resources. We don't all go home anymore because here I have a population of 110. Of a maximum of 160%, 104 to 110. I want to say that there are 444 people who were not finished. And let's see, they attack us again. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it in a little more detail how easy it is. With so much forest just in Serbia, there you have more. In this case it seems that they are archers. See here you have archers, look at. The ones that do not give time to see it, I do not know if you have noticed. The javelins are deadly impressive javelins. Okay, where we were. And we are going to keep working. Well, look how here there is another stone quarry. Well, I am going to set up a warehouse and I am going to tell them to focus on achieving the stone, apply it. They are working on the metal. Look carefully at the amount of wood I already have. 19,800. Well, I'm going to take these 19 later. For example here. And all of these too, and I'm going to see if there is anyone who is loitering. Well, in this case, it tells me 27. I don't know if it's because they're in transit. Why? Well, I'm going to tell them to work on that mother of one. Now I have all of them working except one. That must be a horseman. I don't have it. And they killed me. Nothing happens. By the way, in the previous video it said something about hunting. Well, here you have. It seems that they are deer with fences, so that for you too. See it, you see there is a deer, that there is another. If we had the good horse, it could also be the soldiers who select the person you want and send him to the Alcazar, of course. Another attack to breathe. Let's go for them again. I am going to do it with knowing if we get to see a little more detail the fight. Look at the knights I'm going to catch. I'm going to catch the chilies and I'm going to push them aside, and we're going to focus on the outfielders. My God, I don't have time. I don't have time, since there are so few troops. On the contrary, I don't have time to see it. To see, if I'm not mistaken, I needed 700 stone units and 700 metal units. To get through the phase, I already have them plenty of the skewer back in the now, and as you can see this has lit up yellow. I went back to paint and shortly we will have passed to the third phase. Look carefully where the line is now blue, because you will see how the, let's say, increases the territory that we have at this moment. All of these that you see here around the resource warehouse, being lazy, they are surely not doing anything. Well, I am going to select, to the point that he sent him to work. They were all once we have passed by, it will be time starting to build new buildings such as the arsenal. The Marvel, I don't know if we'll get to build it after here. There's a the Marvel, I don't know if we'll get to build it after here. There's a military camp. One already ordered what it's for. Well, we can also build the stone towers. When he explains the order, the whole line has already been illuminated. The Radio radius of our territory is advanced. And these new icons of the fortress light up. The military camp, even this one is not all illuminated because I am missing 38 units of good metal, more attacks. Please. Nothing more. From what has been said, they want so few enemy troops that we have no time or idea to savor the little battle. Be careful that when I am working with the intermediate difficulty that you will have it much more complicated. It is not going to be so easy. Very well, what has been said, we are going to start build special buildings. And we will build, we are going to focus on the front. Because that is where the fights will take place, not in the rear but in front. I don't know if I have told you that if for some reason the enemy is very powerful and approaches us too late, and the women run the risk of dying, so what to do next is pressed in the now, and here you have two little bells. Okay, well, I'm going to do the first so you can see it, even if there aren't any certain ones, it leads to happen to sound a saw. And what happens that the women immediately go to take refuge where, well, look here more people come to me. When I have a few soldiers here and we go after them. And they have not found out. Well, what I was commenting, now look what the women have disappeared. Such have disappeared because the alarm has been activated, then what that was commenting on, immediately they will take refuge. For example, in the agora or in the houses that are closest when the danger has passed, click here and now on cancel alarm, and those women come back out of where they had hidden and live and go back to work exactly where they were before. For example, in this case, the orchards, but if there were people around here, women working with metal, stone or wood, they would do exactly the same thing. They would go to the same place, they would go with the work they had left at that moment. Well, here I have more enemies that were attacking me all over. The arsenal, I don't know if it's finished, it's already built, and here everything appears perfectly illuminated well. Now let's go to explain it. In the meantime, I could build a fortress. Look what the arsenal is for. Here you have it. You can take out mustache spears. I don't usually use them much, to havoc on special occasions. And catapults, if it was me either, what he did use many other selection projections. They are incredible. They are capable of destroying anything. Now that you do have to protect them, you shouldn't send them into the fight alone at any time, because they can destroy you immediately. And after there was a series of bonuses or improvements. 6 has been advanced siege technology, plate armor, military engineers, and precision shoots. I usually activate them all when I fire. I am going to take out 2 or 3 variants. Very well. Something else that can be built is good as a defensive weapon. Well, the towers, we have stone from here. Well, I'm going to build several. I remind you that there has to be a minimum distance between towers. You can't put them again. Surprise, that is, start glass, music. The Greeks won't let me explain, it's to be Noted, so they die right away. Never really do this. Because if you send a unit or two to battle when the enemy has so many units, it is like sending them to their deaths. What I was saying, we are going to create the stone towers. The stone towers are defensive buildings, and they also have, let's say, what a security circle is around them in such a way that they also shoot arrows at enemies that can get very close, the tower said, that is, when they approach their circle of confidence or are within their circle of confidence, and more if you have placed soldiers inside it as well. I will explain how they are placed inside. Look, I am going to build another tower has fixed. What happens if you tried to place it here? It appears in red. It means that it cannot be built here. Yes, why? Because we have already exceeded the distance, the minimum distance. Good. I can make others come to build another tower, so I'm going to cut off towers that will help me when the enemy comes, and a few others, and I'm going to send them here. Building towers. Good. And if not, this is usually done when you have a defensive attitude, let's say. Poorly, but if you don't have it, you can save it. Although sometimes it's not that bad. I think that these are enough. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive towers here. I have more turkeys than they come towards me, and I, without taking out more units, by the way, we are going to meet all this rock to take them here before they leave me. Music. By the way, I have said it, but I have not done it, was to build a barracks. We are going to build a barracks around here near the front fence, and even for a moment one, these will continue well, and sticking with these people who come here from the right eye. I'm going to go to work and get more soldiers out of moments. And I am going to tell them to come here, remember, with the selected building. Press the Alt key and I send them here to the front. Very well, the Cuartero has been built for me. Look carefully that here you can take out the same soldiers as before, plus another one, that is that they are the veteran lances. Very well. And before the one that before it was not in the aura, there are no chances to take out those. Well, what I usually do is also take out a C build. Sorry, they come to me there. Let's go for them. By the way, here you can see the 3 siege rams that I have requested. Music. Okay, one other thing before I forget. Improvements for the towers. For the stone towers, here you have it, sentinels, loopholes. Again, loopholes. I don't know why it's repeated loopholes, and here's another one that still can't activate the new directive before the law, and that will make the defense from the towers much better. A great hoax, and as I was telling you, I could build if they let me. It supposes a stable. I'm going to place it, for example, here. Well, these are the soldiers that are coming the time I had sent him to the key in front of another thing that may interest us. Look, you can build all the parts you want, man, you don't have to go too far. But 234 wouldn't be there. Max, I already have one. Well, I'm going to build 6 more and I'm going to put them all close together, and here, for example, I put another voucher, and before pressing I keep the Shift key pressed because this allows me to tell you that I don't want 1 but 2, 3, whatever it takes in this case 2 more. I will have a total of 3. Okay, they have finished building that. Well, I tell them that I was burned, that they collect me, because the wood you spend, I already have a lot of wood, it is discounted, I already have a lot of wood, but well, they have to do something, they will not stand there idly by, I'm going to put to work. Be careful, the battering rams will not kill me. To also take it out when I can, because at this moment it is not in a position to go out with a moustache lance to see, so that you can see how it works. Other gods that do not leave me alone. This cannot be activated every day. I will have to leave the soldiers here because they don't let me do anything. The man has fixed well that I'm doing well with everything except metal. Well, I'm leaving at the time, and I'm going to tell you what to see. If people look, all these are doing nothing. I'm going to look for some mine here and look well before loading fears. I'm going to take, and I'm going to take out more troops. You can also take out women, remember, to help me collect it. The metal comes out. The manuals, by the way, the stone quarry that was here has disappeared. Cancel lunch. They are the swordsmen that the turtle formation that we mentioned before are in a position to attack. This position, I am telling you, is not adequate to move, especially if there are obstacles along the way, for example, trees, forests, not because they try to maintain the formation and then it is much more convenient for them. It's complicated to move forward. The best thing is to deactivate the formation. Well, music. Very well, let's go back to the subject to see what. Very well, let's go back to the subject to see what. We'll leave these people here as if they saw me again. Let's go with him now. Well, first we are going to finish the issue of the barracks. Part of the 3 units of these that appear that are the gardeners as. Before the swordsmen and the novelty, the spearman appears here an icon that allows me to unlock elite infantry that will appear here, that is in gray. Good, now they attack me from the other side. Watch out for they and how there is not the same. I should not have to worry because the towers in this case are capable of defending themselves. Yes, few people come to you. I have already told you that if they enter the security circle, well, look how they are falling. And my troops had not yet arrived. The tower in the sun, and it has defended itself. Well, let's go back. We are going to leave them here in the middle here. There are 2 steps, and look, there is a step here in the mountain range. There is another step over here. You can come to me by. Well, I'm going to leave those 2 steps more or less in the center, since I don't have resource problems. As I've said, I only need metal. More people will go to collect metal. Well, if you realize, my finger has slipped and I've hit it twice. This is the production queue. For the output of units, since the first one has 10 of the second 5, here it is because I gave it twice, keeping the shift key on each click that you make, in this case. 5 are added if I gave it 5 times 25. Little soldiers, they would come out at the same time. What happens is that it is difficult for them. Of course, now I have to tell you that it is much faster to take out the soldiers en bloc. It is worth that if you do them one by one, then they come out little by little, and it is more difficult for them. Okay, let's go. So this is where the barracks were. Well, this allows me to unlock, as I said, the elite infantry will appear here. It would be the italic heavy infantry, and this is also an improvement called forced recruitment. I will not activate both things, and then you will say why you have put the parts are close for a very simple reason. I click on one of them and they are selected. All 3 are selected at the same time, everything that is in the visible area, and then now I can do the same as before, but in triplicate. Look. At this moment I could take out 3 by 3. Or if I press the capital letters, look at 15 by 15. And without a pulse twice, as I have told you before, well, a double. If I have enough resources, I will do it. And here I have 10, 10 and 10 in the queue. Very well. We will wait for the elite forces to come out and move. Okay, I'm going to tell you something else about what has happened right now. If you realize they themselves have gone on the attack, well, I'll tell you the following. Look, I have these soldiers selected. Alan, I am going to place them here. Here we are, and here I have a series of icons. Look carefully that indicate what attitude the soldiers have to take. For example, when they are attacked, these are also all here and all little dots. Look carefully, we start from the right. It says keep the position, that is if, for example, they are working on the collection of wood because they do not flinch and continue working even if the enemy approaches them. The second passive says they flee if they are attacked. This other defensive says they attack nearby enemies, chasing him briefly and then return to the original point. Sometimes, for example, at this moment I would be interested if it were to continue. It is the one that I am going to activate it because, and that is what they are going to do. But when they have finished the fight, they will return to the starting point again, and I know that is interesting in certain circumstances, such as now, that I still do not want to attack. I do not want to attack, although I surely I could do it. Let's see. Here you go. The enemy has expanded quite a lot. I don't know what forces it will have, but it has expanded a lot. To read, it has many buildings, as you don't have to be talking at the same time. You can be able to be focused on what has been focused. Well, here you have it. Look, enemies are approaching me, and what happens then? That some of my people that I have there have approached and have attacked, and when they have finished the fight, they have returned again to the marked position. Perfect, no good. And then there are two attitudes. Here you have the aggressive one, says to attack the nearby enemies, the law, and this other violent one. You have to be careful with this. I actually would not activate them unless I am already attacking but defending myself, as is the case, and we are going to see. Look, I do not edit them. They approach them by themselves. They kill the enemies. Chaos, and then they return to the marked position. Here you have the two turkeys that are being called. They killed one. Look, they have finished the task, and what has happened? That I have marked this, for example. It is very good. Now I can put them near a tower or Some building that interests me. By the way, I forgot here is another building that I have built and that I forgot to say where. Where I want these soldiers to come out of the 3 barracks, and that's why they've put us here. She won't let me look at her. The infantry thing has already come out despite the italics. I'm going to build a few. I'm going to tell them to come here. Then everyone, the soldiers of that type and all the soldiers that are here in the production queue are going to come to me there. By the way, look carefully, this is blinking. It means that I forgot what I said at home. If you are there explaining, you forget things. No, you can be at mass and ringing. Let's go. We're going to break up a lot of houses and I forget about it. I don't have any more of your work. Well, nothing to work on the houses. Well, it is necessary that the houses be built more quickly, not like at the beginning when they came out from 1 and 2 to pairs. Well, let's go back to where we were, the arsenal, I mean the fortress, sorry. Here you have the 3 heroes that can only be taken out one at a time, and what has been said. If the 3 of them are marked, you have run out of a hero. I am going to take one of them out, for example the first one, and I am going to take him to the area where I have the troops. Music. By the way, if you pay attention now when they approach, and I called it, more enemies come. Yes. If you selected it and we look here, there are 2 types of attitudes, aggressive and defensive. Defensive is what I have marked for them. But the new ones, since I had not told them anything to adopt it, let's say the default posture that is aggressive is. Okay, look, I'm not going to do anything to see what happens. House I have here, but a few have approached, and on top of that the tower is making the arrows. Therefore ours that take time in the Canary Islands have fallen. On these 6 that I have just selected are the ones that have just the new ones that come out have an aggressive attitude. All the new ones that come out have an aggressive attitude, and I'm here as I did defensively, because the hero has already left. Look, if you want to locate them, the easiest thing to do is this icon that you have here on the top left. Specifically, their names are Marcos, Claudio, Marcelo. Okay, so if you click on him, he selects it, and York, and if you pay attention, he leads it. Is this okay? Well, he carries the horse. He is a rider, and if you pay attention, a circle surrounds him. In that means that following good. First of all, the heroes have many abilities from the sun. They are elite forces, let's say, but on top of that, any soldier that they have in their area of influence, which is, I repeat, these blue rings that you have, they also increase their effectiveness. I don't know if I had told you before about the soldiers that they are workers, that is to say, they are used to work. For example, I have used them to collect wood, stone, or metal. And they can also work with Chad, functional as a correct soldier.
Bien, pues esos soldados cuando entran en lucha y sobreviven, por supuesto, que si no